Good evening. Good evening, John Augustine. Hope I find you well. Night has drawn in and darkness down, lights are on. Sometimes lights be on during the day if it's too cloudy, but it wasn't too bad today. I was able to have a walk, which I like to be able to do, and thank God. So, we're talking about home. So, what is your home like? My home was, well, and funny enough, there was a comedy in the Gaiety Theatre years ago that myself and my late wife went to. I went there a couple of times home. It was very humorous. It was set in a building in Dublin, in an apartment building, and there was an assortment of individuals there, including the lad who was the main character. It was very funny, and funny enough, I haven't seen it now done again, and I thought it was one of the best I ever was at. But we're talking about home in the traditional sense. Now, homes have changed over the years from when I was young. Our home was in Hope first, and then later on in Boyle, County Roscommon, where my father was transferred as a guard. Now, but home was, in my time, there wasn't much of the material things of life like what we have now. Central heating was certainly not a factor. You had a fire, and that was it. And sometimes you had some kind of an oil stove and be smelling out of it if the wick wasn't right. But that's another story. And he was, but it was happy. That's the funny thing. And we didn't have much of the material things of life. And cars were a scarce commodity. It was bicycles. But the business of the home, myself and my brother, Don, were taught, did the washing up. And it was good training because you were doing your bit. And I don't recall breaking on them. I forget who was washing it. Maybe we took it in turns to wash and dry. And you'd have to have hot water from a kettle or something to do it. You couldn't do it in cold water because there was no such thing as hot water coming out of taps. You had to boil something to have the water. And so, you had to have hot water, and I don't know whether we had a brush or a cloth to clean the dishes, and you had to do a good job because there might be inspectors. So you better do that again, you might be told. Well, anyway, this was it, but there was other factors attached to the home. What is it like between your parents? Parents can have difficulties with themselves too, but by and large, if I may say, use that word, things was all right. People were got on. And funny enough, as I went through life, I found that the most important ingredient in any marriage is respect, each one for the other, because differences can arise and unnecessary little arguments that can take place. And it's not good if children witness that type of thing, because unity and peace is what a child needs. And by and large, we had it. And I was blessed when in Hope there are so many uncles and aunts that there was always that. But in Boyle, that was a scarce commodity. But then there was other benefits. There was good neighbours. You didn't have a lock on your door or anything like it. You closed the door over because they used to swell in the winter, so they wouldn't close. And I don't ever remember a lock or anything like it, and nobody else had it. And people called in. So neighbours called in, friends called in. And this was young, and you're grown up and you're observing, and there was no difference between people. We were all in the same boat, and Mass was the Holy Rosary was said most evenings in the home, and we all got a chance to say a decade of the Rosary. So these were all foundations, and churches were packed. And you went to when you made your first Holy Communion, but I made it in Holt, and then you visited relatives and all the rest, and you got something from them, which is very good. I know, I know people that didn't have that great benefit. And sometimes when they made their first Holy Communion, there was nobody there belonged to their family. Yeah, which is a very sad affair. So not everybody was blessed that way, but those times, 98% of people that were Catholics were practicing their Catholic faith. So churches was packed. We had 3 masses of a Sunday in Holt, and we had 3 masses of a Sunday in Boyle. And that was 8:30, 10, and 11:30. And they were all packed. And confessions was packed. But the home was, every home was, because of that, there was unity and there was harmony and peace in many ways. You heard of things going on in other countries, and that was another story. But as far as we were concerned, funny enough, I remember when I was young, I remember people having these gas masks. Gas masks, so they must have been expecting some. They knew something about what the Germans were up to. Gas masks. I think families were supplied with those in case that there was trouble. And not maybe remember. Not many people might remember that, but it have to be of a certain vintage, or else you don't hear about it in historical business. But that's the way it was. But when you're young, you're not aware of these things. No. But I know if you were young in London, you would be aware of it, or in Britain, because there'd be sirens because the bombs fall and all this with the Germans. They caused a lot of trouble all over the world and in Europe. And all these concentration camps where they murdered a lot of Jewish people, 6 million. But anyway, I'm digressing there. We're talking about home. I better stick to the subject. And so very happy memories of home. And the business of people being on the same wavelength and doing the same things. I don't remember any arguments on this business of what you hear now. There was no such thing as this. What's going on now with the now not that many people practicing their Catholic faith as was, and so their lives in grave danger of eternal damnation. You don't hear it preached. And of course, it should be, and the shepherds, bishops should be preaching about these things for people to go back and celebrate them, because there was harmony everywhere. There was none of this division that we seem to have nowadays. So home is where the heart is, isn't it? And that's where it was for many years. But times change, don't they? And sometimes good that great foundation of the home is not there. And I often wonder, because religion helps people to sort of develop to save their immortal souls, and it develops a good relationship between the husband and wife, and children feel secure if there's children. And that's all children need, is security. In many countries, they don't have it because people divorce and all the rest of it, which is a pity. It's often good to have the husband and wife that they share the same values and of a spiritual nature, because that is the basis for a happy marriage. Because when the two are like that, it needs two. If there's one not, it can cause problems, and of the same religion, like Catholics should marry Catholics and that type of thing. And so times have changed, but that's the way it was, and there was a great deal of unity between all age groups. I don't remember any sort of them and us sort of thing, none of that. And of course, some of us were looking to get a second school education. Most people left school at 14 and got apprenticeships and all the rest of it. So there was no shortage of tradesmen. Now there's a shortage because they all want to be educated in university and that. And it can't all be in those type of jobs. You need the other people that have good trades, like in the electrical, plumbing, and all the other trades that's so important. But home is where the heart is, and thank God one grew up in that sort of an environment, and it was good. And friends, I have some friends now for the time I was young, still with us, and still good pals and visit one another. Stay overnight, stay for a couple of days, as long as you like. So this is the great gift, thank God. So I hope you have it, and if you haven't got it, try and aim for it. And the young people, aim for it. Don't take shortcuts and think that you can do it. You can't. You need the spiritual guidance. You need the faith, the Catholic faith preferably, because you've the sacrament of confession. And those of you that's gone a bit astray, avail of it. Do you good. So I'll finish on that, and I'll do another little one after this. And then that's it. It's always good, as you go through the day, other things come into your head. And it's good to share them, isn't it? And hope that people are doing well themselves in their homes and children are safe, and maybe the Holy Rosary is said. Because the great Father Peyton, Patrick Peyton, said the family that prays together stays together. And Archbishop Fulton John Sheen, that great preacher, broadcaster, he was a great man. He got hundreds of thousands of vocations, not vocations, vocation to the Catholic faith. He was marvellous. Bye now.